Okay, I'm gonna make another video today on this. What did I say? It's like day 46 or something ridiculous of bed rest. Um, right now it's couch rest because when there's nobody in my house, I do like to at least be downstairs where there's some sunshine. Um, so in answer to some questions, I'm gonna just kind of spell out what has been going on um, with my body and why I'm in this goddamn situation in the first place. So don't watch this if you don't need to know. March 13th, 46 days ago, I started having some weird cramping pain while I was at work. I work at a bar, my favorite bar. And yeah, I was having cramping pain. I'm like, what the hell is this? I just got over my period like a week and a half ago, so there's no need for this. And my periods are never fun, so as I'm sure yours are. Periods are great. So anyway, took some Midol, thought, whatever, it was gonna help. The next day, the pain had escalated. It was real bad. I didn't understand what was going on. I wasn't quite ready to go to the doctor because I couldn't. I just didn't understand it. So anyway, it takes everything for me to call into work. I don't miss work unless I am dying. So I was about dying. So missed work, went to the ER and told them what was up. So 4 hours later, I'm in a room. They give me morphine. The weirdest thing was that the morphine didn't even touch the pain. It was so bizarre. The doctor came in and I was like, I still feel this. I don't know what's going on. And then I was like, I'm high as fuck, so I care less. And then I think they thought I was crazy and looking for drugs. Can't imagine why. I don't do the best with myself in these situations. Anyway, so they sent me for an ultrasound. I got getting really warm. Excuse me for a second. This isn't weird at all. Sent me for an ultrasound. They found a an ovarian cyst. God, my blue hair, my Seahawks scarf back on. Thanks, Jen. It's a hat. Anyway, ovarian cyst on my left ovary that was hemorrhagic, or hemorrhaging, whatever you want to hear. So they were like, oh, we know what's happening. What your pain is that these fluids and blood that this cyst is leaking, it's leaking into your abdomen, and that's probably causing pain. Cool. Okay. So the next thing, they were like, it usually resolves itself, so we're just going to send you home with some pain pills, and you should be fine soon. They also pumped me full of more morphine because the first hadn't worked. So that was just bizarre, but whatever. They send me home with Vicodin. Terrible. It didn't do anything. Didn't do a damn thing. So anyway, I was there from 10:30 at night at the ER till 7:30 in the morning. Went home, slept for probably 3.5, 4 hours, got up, and I needed a new gynecologist anyway, so I called this very highly recommended lady to get in there, and I happened to, this is crazy, get into an appointment that had canceled in the next half hour. So I did. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm on it. So we went. My lovely boyfriend, who had also been up all night with me, took me to that. This is where I have to refer to my timeline of events. Bear with me. So I go to her. She says the same thing. She didn't do an exam or an ultrasound or anything. She was like, okay, they already did this. So I believe you have this. No, Vicodin's not going to do shit. So she gave me a prescription for Percocet. Sent me home. Also said, this should probably resolve itself. You're probably going to be fine. That was on Monday, March 14th. No, that's not true. That was on Tuesday, March 15th, because that whole day started to be a blur. I'm old now, so I need to wear glasses for reading. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. So then Monday, March 21st comes along. Yeah. And I call her. Ring, ring. And I'm like, I still have this pain. So I don't know what's going on, but somebody please do something about it. So she sends me to an ultrasound the next day. So I go for an ultrasound the next day. I then get a call from my gynecologist within like a fucking hour. And she's like, so the cyst has doubled in size. And it doesn't, it doesn't seem to be going down. We're not really sure what's going on, but I'm going to just do surgery to remove it in 2 days. So they decided to do this on Thursday, March 24th. So I go in, have surgery to remove the cyst. I'm thinking like, sweet, okay, maybe it'll take like a week, maybe 2 weeks tops, and I'll be back like to work, to everything. Life, So I heal from the surgery. Oh, they also found endometriosis because story of my life. I always knew I had it, but they didn't fucking, they can't see it unless they do the goddamn laparoscopy. Finally, I get a laparoscopy. Finally, they find endometriosis. Finally, they get that shit out along with the cyst. Okay, so remove that. I recover from surgery. I have a post-op appointment April 6th. Meanwhile, in this time period, I have gone off the drugs. Everything else feels fine except for the goddamn pain is still there. So, I don't know. So anyway, I go in. She does an extensive pelvic exam. Let me just say that again. Extensive pelvic exam. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, does that. I get one of the lovely pelvic ultrasounds again. Whee! I also get an abdominal ultrasound. I get all the fucking sounds. And everything looks great. She said my uterus looked perfect. Everything was beautiful. I don't know. So she's like, who knows what your problem is? But it's not a lady part. So she told me to go to my primary physician. So I do that. 2 days later, I'm in for him. This is awesome. This is 2 weeks after surgery, mind you. He says, oh, what I normally would do is tell you to, it might be recovery pains still. That was pretty much my face. I was like, dude, no. So I was like, okay, I understand that you would say that, but it's not. So let's just go for whatever the next step is that you would recommend. So he gives me a referral for a CAT scan, CT scan, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I think it's the same thing. And then an appointment with digestive health because maybe it's a GI problem, even though I have no other symptoms except for just pain. Abdominal, pelvic pain. That's it. I don't have diarrhea. I don't have constipation, except from taking Percocet, because Percocet is a son of a bitch. So that'll do it. Other than that, though, no. So, okay. don't even get me started on how long it took for me to get a fucking CT scan and how much on the phone I was with insurance and with the the fucking CT place. Um, I could have killed so many people. It was so ridiculous. I just wanted to be done with this, and I thought, oh, a CT scan is going to totally be the answer to all of the problems, and then we'll know what's going on. So, anyway, get the CT scan April 14th. That's a Thursday. This is important. Friday, April 15th. I get a call at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like snoozing. I get a call from my nurse, my doctor, primary nurse, and she says, we got your results back from the CT scan, and the good news is there are no acute abnormalities. You don't have any obstructions or anything like that. That's actually her voice. They did find a small hernia, and you have a small, like 2.2 centimeter size cyst near your kidney. That was a like medical diagnosis, like near my kidney. I'm like fucking floating in my body. I don't understand what near my kidney means, but anyway, I didn't ask any questions. I was so tired and confused, and like, and all I heard was no acute abnormalities, and like, okay. So I get off the phone, and all they want to know is that I'm going to go to this like GI specialist. I get off the phone, and I'm like, okay, this is all weird. All right. So I look up hernias. I didn't even realize women could have hernias before that, actually. And now I'm to the point where I realize that doctors don't really realize that either. So I look that up. Every fucking thing points to a small hernia being the source of my pain. Everything. That's just a start of my real road of frustration. So I say this I call the nurse back, and I'm like, so I ask about these things. I say this about the hernia. I say that she's like, well, it's really small. I don't see why that would be the cause of your pain. And I'm like, I just read, and I'm not I don't do this. I'm not like a WebMD diagnose myself bullshit. I did research because they said, hey, you have this thing. Oh, so, maybe it has something to do with why I'm in fucking constant pain all the time. I don't know. So I told her, I was like, all of these articles say that, this leading hernia specialist in the country says the smaller the hernia, the bigger the problem, like the more the pain. So maybe that could be it. And so, no. Anyway, she doesn't listen. She doesn't quite, I don't know that she even knew what she was talking about or trying to listen about. They tell me to call, because my doctor's not in that day for me to talk to. So they tell me to call the backup doctor that's in. And so I call that number. I leave a message. I'm like crying in frustration at this point. I don't think I can even convey how frustrated I was, because we're talking, this is like a month later already. So I've missed work this whole time. I've missed everything. I haven't actually said that, have I? I can't do anything. Like, I get out of bed, I move around, and then I regret it. Like, if I sit for too long, I'm in pain. If I get up and I walk around, I'm in pain. If I go upstairs, I'm really in pain after. If I do anything, I would like drive my son to school, come back, and it was like, that was too much for me to do. It's insane. So anyway, another thing that all of it points to being a hernia. It's like if you move, like the only thing that helps is to lay down, which is not my forte. I mean, I like relaxing, but this is fucking ridiculous. So, oh my God. Okay, so I call that doctor to try to get into there, speak to no one, break down in my message on the phone. That night, oh, and I'm also down to like 4 Percocet, and it's the weekend, right? It's Friday. So I decide to go to the ER. A friend of mine takes me to the ER. I'm at the ER. I get a call from that doctor's nurse. I don't fucking answer it because then I'm just going to be a bitch. So she leaves a message that says that this backup doctor is only until noon on Friday. So, what the fuck is the point of a backup doctor if they're not even in for backing up? I actually want an answer to that. I really don't understand. So, anyway, I'm at the ER. I'm like in there. This lady comes in. This doctor. Oh man. And she says whatever she says. And I bring up the CT scan and the fact that I had had this done and that they had found this small hernia or whatever. And she says, well, I'm an emergency doctor. I deal in emergent situations. As if I'm fucking 4 years old and don't fucking understand where I am and what they do. So, in other words, she was saying she knows nothing about a hernia, can't help me at all, can't answer any of my questions because she never learned about it in medical school. I have no idea. Fine. Whatever. Then she proceeds to say that she thinks it's the endometriosis. So here's the thing. I'm 30 fucking 8 years old. I've lived with endometriosis, I assume all my life, at least since I started puberty. I've been going through endometriosis pain since I was at least fucking 17. I know what that pain's like. I know what this pain's like. They're 2 different things, just by the way. So she says, well, I don't know how. Oh, I said, I went back in while I still had this pain, went back for the ultrasound. Everything was cleared. Nothing in there. She said, I don't have any problems in my lady parts. It's something else. And she said, well, I don't know how fast endometriosis grows back. This is the point where I wanted to fucking wring her neck. She obviously doesn't know anything about endometriosis. Yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to get into it. Anyway, condescending. They also acted like I just was like out looking for drugs, but she did actually prescribe me more Percocet, considering I was fucking out of them. Oh, so they found another cyst. They found a cyst on my right ovary. And so then that's all anybody could focus on again. Fucking cysts, okay? I am a fucking cyst factory. I produce cysts. Like, women, this is what we do. Especially those of us who have endometriosis. We fucking produce goddamn cysts. And they do things. And they don't cause anything. So, yes, I have another cyst. No, this isn't the source of my pain. Is anybody hearing me when I say that I had an ultrasound while I was in pain and all of that was clear? No? Okay, cool. So, anyway, I already know that's not the problem. They want me to go to my gynecologist again. Even I get back and my primary physician says the same thing, like, the nurse calls and is like, hey, we just wanted to make sure you have an appointment with your gynecologist so she can deal with the cyst. And I'm like, okay, I'll call her, knowing full well what she's going to say. So I call. Sure enough, she's like, that's not it. I've called him. I left a message saying that's not the source of the problem. It's something else. So whatever. So what happened next? I'm sorry this is 20 minutes long, but this is my story. I go to my digestive health appointment for the GI stuff. That's okay. So I go in. Mind you, I had made this appointment everything, made this appointment. Everything was smooth. There were no problems. I go in. I'm there with like everybody who's over 80, and there are just random farts happening throughout the. I mean, we're in a GI. Like, okay, no, like I don't know what I was supposed to do. It was interesting. It was a great people watching experience. So I sit. I'm like starting to read. I've been there for 20 minutes. It's basically where you have like I was going to see a nurse practitioner. So because there are doctors that I was supposed to see. One's booked till October. The other one, the next appointment wasn't until May 24th, which is where I'm headed at this point. So you go to see a nurse practitioner. So what they do is they book you at noon with like 7 other people, and then you go and you sit in the waiting room. And you just wait until she can see you. It could be 20 minutes. It could be 3 hours or something. So anyway, I'm sitting there for 20 minutes. They call my name to come right back up to the desk, and they tell me that I have some outstanding bill from last year when I got an endoscopy, unrelated to this shit, obviously, but I didn't know. It's like $1,600. I don't know how I missed it, but I'm good at missing stuff. But, so I missed it. No, I didn't have $1,600 in my pocket to pay them right there. But they wouldn't see me because I had this bill. So, I can't even explain to you the overwhelming emotions I had when I left that appointment. Okay. So then I make an appointment to see this ARNP at another health group, basically. They had been recommended to me because Multicare like is not great at the communication. So we were seeing if like Franciscan would be better. So I go, I make an appointment with this ARNP, and I'm like, I'm having to tell my story again. So, it's going to be difficult already. This woman, I say to her, I had a CT scan, showed this. Oh, she talks to me about my like lady region for a good 5 minutes at first. And I say, I had surgery in, oh, hello. I had surgery. I also had an ultrasound after the surgery. Everything looked good. I was still in pain. So that's not it. She continues to talk to me about my lady region for another 5, maybe 10 minutes. I'm like going out of my goddamn mind. Just because I'm a fucking female doesn't mean that just because I have pain, it must be from there. I know it's abdominal. I know it's pelvic. I know it's in that area. But we've cleared that. Okay? So, frustrating. Sorry if I'm loud. I'm actually not sorry if I'm loud. Just, it's fucking frustrating. So, there you go. So I tell her about the CT scan. I tell her about the hernia thing. I tell her that I have read all about it at this point, and I'm just wondering if that's it. And she says, oh, in all your, what'd she say? In your online medical school degree research? And I just like, I did a little bit of this. And then I said, I know that you don't know me from Adam, but I am not that person. I don't just diagnose myself, but when I have had something that I've had for about 6 weeks and nobody's been able to help me, and somebody says I do actually have this issue, then I'm going to go and fucking look it up. And if there are things that actually point to, yes, this might be the problem, then this might be the problem. Just maybe. So I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to tell you about it and ask. So anyway, then she also says she's not going to prescribe me Percocet again. She's going to prescribe me Tramadol because obviously I am seeking drugs. She didn't say that. She fucking implied that. Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened there. And then I go back to my primary care physician last week, And I tell him I'm fucking done. And he ends up referring me to a general surgeon. And that's where I'm at right now. He sort of listened to me about the hernia, but also disregarded it. Sort of, except that he referred me to the surgeon, so that's the right step at least. Yeah. And so here I am, and that's why I'm making yarn. I'm not making yarn. Oh, holy shit. Could you imagine if I was fucking making yarn? Oh my god. If I start making yarn, just, it's over. Alright? Like, oh my god, I can't even imagine. Jesus Christ. Making crochet, you know, I am crocheting. I'm not making crochet. I'm not making yarn. I'm not creating things from scratch. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. This is what happens. Yeah. Drinking wine. I'm not drinking wine right now. But that's one of the only things that sometimes helps me to feel better by the end of the night. Don't start, calling all the alcohol cops, because it's not like that. But anyway, I think that's all. I have plenty of other things to say, but this has been so fucking long already. I'm really sorry, but if you wanted to know what my saga has been, there it is. Thank you again, Jen, for the scarf. My hair is so gross right now. All right, bye.